If you've watched this channel for a while, you know I've reviewed a lot of robotic lawnmowers. At this point, I've tested machines from more than 8 different manufacturers across everything from small suburban lawns to complex, challenging properties. I don't just look at the specs on paper. I focus on how these mowers actually perform in real-world conditions that homeowners can deal with every day. All of these reviews, I can honestly say I've not seen another robot lawnmower designed quite like this one. The Lymow One uses a front deck cutting system that is built to handle tall, overgrown grass. You can see the deck cutting system here to the lower left, as it's bulldozing these leaves out of the way to stay on mission. I'm really impressed with this lawnmower. In this video, we're going to open the box. I'm going to show you the features of it, how to set this thing up if you were to get one, many features of the app and the options that it gives you in order to mow your property. And I'm going to tell you some things that I really would like the Lymow to improve, but this is a revolutionary design and one you should definitely consider when you're looking for a robot lawnmower.
All right, let's open the box. It is the holiday season here, so there I have my Christmas tree up. So anyway, here's a quick start guide. That's kind of comes in handy, keeps you from having to read the directions too much. And I'll have to read what these are. This looks like some type of support that is right here. I'll look at that is a wall mount bracket. And here's another mounting pole. Now, this is the Triton that actually, you put this into the RTK pole. I think it's probably the ones that I have took out. And you can push that down on the ground beside of it. I'll go over the RTK system and how to set that up so it's kind of foolproof. It doesn't get, it doesn't really get messed up that much, but I'll go over that when we set that up. Here's a charging adapter nozzle, a little bit more information there, some more packaging. Here we are. We've got some cord, probably to the RTK system because it's that thin. Looks like they give you a lot of cord for that. I would imagine what this is for is probably the RTK system. You put the RTK system here and you actually mount to the side of the house. I bet you that's what that is. Power cord, likely to the RTK system. I'm going to put that down there. Here we've got, this looks a little bit more robust. This is probably the power cord to the docking station that ultimately charges the unit. These are the spikes. What these spikes do, they will go on the bottom of the unit and or on the docking station, and that holds it into the ground so that way it doesn't move. It's usually not a big deal, but ooh, wow. There's some light reading, probably in several different languages. But anyway, big owner's manual on this. Antenna to the RTK system. Put that in there that communicates between the RTK system and the robot. And here's the RTK system itself. What these are, I'll go over this real quick. I get a lot of folks that see these robot lawnmowers in my yards that I have for the channel. How do these know where it is and where they're going? And how do they keep from drifting off into someone else's yard or in the middle of the highway? This is an RTK unit. And then the robot itself also has the ability, as well as the RTK unit, to communicate with satellites. So what you have is you have communication between the RTK unit and satellite, and the satellite, and the mower to the RTK unit. There's a triangulation. This is exactly the same technology that surveyors use to pinpoint where property lines are. Same thing. This mower knows exactly where it is all the time to say, most of them say near a centimeter, which is a lot smaller than an inch, probably closer than that. So it knows where it is. Here is some bolts. I would imagine this probably goes to the base of the RTK holder. I bet you, yeah, that's exactly what that is. That goes to the side of the house if you want to mount on the side of the house. That is not a bad move. There again, I'll go over that when we talk about setting this up. You get the packaging out of here. Oh, set this over here. Wow, here's the unit itself. And man, this thing is a beast. Holy moly. And this, you get to see me lift this. This might take a second. Oh. There we go. Ain't that smart? They put straps on the side of it so you can actually take that part off. Here, let's try to lift this up. Yeah, this thing's heavy. And it really has to be heavy considering that what it does. This unit has essentially tank tracks on it. And here's, look, does it go up that far? Oh, wow. That's nice. This is one thing about any type of riding lawnmower, for example. This is the one thing I like. On golf courses, we have front deck mowers. You'll never see a mid-deck mower. Very rarely do you do on golf courses because twofold. One, they're easily serviceable. Two, this is not an issue here, but the operator can actually see where they're mowing. The nice thing about this is you can go ahead. Wow, look at the blades on this thing. This is not those little razor blades. That's interesting. These are bona fide mower blades. These aren't the little razor blade things that you get with a typical robot lawnmower. Those are actual blades. So this thing can do some heavy duty stuff. Here's the docking station. And the docking station, as you can see here, actually goes up in here, docks, and that's where it charges. You can hook the RTK's unit to the docking station, or you can put it somewhere else in the house. I'll go over that when we do the setup. So now that we've got everything out, we've taken a good look at it, let's go set this up. Okay, we have the base station in. The unit is now charging. Now, there's one thing that I missed. I had to actually call their technical support to help me out with this. It wasn't a big deal. I just missed it in the instructions, but I'll tell you this. The battery here in the back, there's actually a cord that you will have to take and plug into the battery. I imagine they probably do that so it doesn't run the battery down in shipping. So that wasn't a big deal at all. And there again, you can replace those batteries over time. I would imagine this one's going to last for quite a while. I've not had too much trouble with batteries on any of my units anyway. Now, the placement of the RTK system, what you want to do is find the southern part of your house. The reason being is all the satellites that are communicating with the mower, and particularly this RTK unit, are on the equator. So if you're in the southern hemisphere, Australia, for example, South America, you'll want to put it on the north side of your house. I've never had trouble with an RTK system communicating with the satellite. So you also have this option too to mount it to your home. And you could put that, and your awning would be here, and you could put it on your house and bolt it to the side. That's actually not a bad move. Now, as far as the mounting, I would recommend that you put it a hard mount somewhere. They actually give you some bolts that looks like they're masonry bolts, very robust bolts that you can actually use this and put these on a masonry surface or this as well. Now, they do give you a Triton. This is an option that you can do because you can plug in the RTK unit directly into the base and have the RTK system adjacent to the base station. Or you can take this plug it in there, and then that way it doesn't have to be in proximity to the base station. It gives you the flexibility to put it in your yard. Maybe you want to put it behind the house, for that way it looks a little better instead of not in the front yard. So anyway, you give that option. So there, you don't have to stick it to the base station itself. So the Triton, if you do put it to the side, they give you a very good Triton here. Some of them I've seen have been very small. The problem with putting it to the side and using the Triton is I have seen RTK systems, if you happen to hit it with your shoulder, move it ever so slightly. Sometimes that may put you in a situation where you actually have to remap the yard. So that's why I recommend mounting it on a hard surface, not necessarily using the Triton, but that's something you want to be aware of, particularly if you have kids, pets, whatever. It might bump this a little bit and throw some things off. So I'm going to go ahead, get this mounted, get this plugged in, and then we're going to map and show the robot your yard.
One of the things Lymow does is they do have a tutorial for their app, and that's a function that I have not seen on other robot lawnmowers. So just a little bit of a tour here. There's actually a light control button. You can turn the headlights on and off. Yes, it has headlights. It does need them to mow at night if you wish to. Here you can toggle between the map and the location of the robot, so that way you can see where it is on the map. Here gives you the signal for the RTK system, the Wi-Fi, the Bluetooth, and of course the charge on the battery. Here's where you want to click if you want to edit the map on the pencil. We'll go over how to map here in a second. Hit this icon to adjust the cutting speed. Yes, you can actually speed it up and slow it down, and of course the cutting height as well. You hit the plus button to create a new map. So we're going to do that in this tutorial. Hit the plus button and then we'll create a zone, which is basically your yard where you want to mow.
And you'll need to steer it manually. The left joystick, if you will, goes forward and back. The right joystick does left to right. And the tutorial has you create a box for the yard. Then you'll need to create a no-go zone. These are zones where you don't want the robot to go into, landscape beds, things of that nature. The app just lets you create a no-go zone box inside the existing one just to give you a little bit of practice before you start. Now you'll need to create a channel if you have multiple yards, and I'll show you one in my yard. Basically what this is a corridor between two sections of your yard. It will go in that exact location each time the lawnmower does your yard to mow it. Now you'll also need to create a path to the charging station. This is a little different than other lawnmowers I've dealt with. You simply click the charging station, and very similar to the way you put path between two locations, you simply drive the mower from the yard area over to the charging station to let the robot know that that is the charging station location. Now, of all the lawnmowers I've had, this is unique to Lymow. You can actually create a docking channel, which allows you to put the robot docking station somewhere on a patio or further away from your mowing area. Now, to show you how to set up a zone, basically all I got to do is click on zone, and this grassy area between the house and the walkway is going to be a zone. And I'm simply going to steer around this area. Now, when you start, make sure that you've got this little tracer area there as the mower goes along, so that way you know it is programming it into the mower. If you don't have that little tracer behind it and it's staying in one spot, so to speak, if it's not there, it's not tracking. So just be aware of that. I did have one issue with that, but it wasn't a big deal. But all you do is simply map it around. You don't bring it back to the original location that you started. The app will automatically know that you've done that, gray that area in, and you can program it to cut a certain height, a certain speed in that specific zone if you wish. Now we're going to create the second zone, and we're going to put a path between the two. Same procedure here. We're simply going to manually drive the mower around the area. Don't really have to get right up against it. I have a tendency to get right up against it, but if you're within a few inches, it will automatically program and cut to that very edge. So don't let that sweat you too much when you're doing your programming. And you can see there to the upper left how it's doing the border of this second zone. And once when we get back to the original location we started, it prompts again, letting us know we've set up that zone correctly. Now we need to create a path between the two zones. This will be the exact path it will take every time when it goes in between these two zones. So if you have some landscaping or maybe a fence or something and a very small area it can go through, you can make that happen by putting the path in that specific area you wish it to go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make a no-go zones. This is just like a landscape bed, anywhere where you don't want the mower to go. So drive it over to the edge of this area. Once when you get to the edge, click no-go zone. That will start the path around the area you wish the mower not to go. There again, there's that little tracer that you have because you know it's programming in when you have that. Simply drive it all the way around. And this area will turn into a sort of an orange area, designated area, so you know it's in your map and you can see where that is. Now, when it starts to mow, it will kind of set itself up to get the correct mowing heights, do some adjustments, really adjust by the wheels and gets the blades going. I'm going to let you listen in and see how quiet this operates.
Attention, lawnmower starting now.
Few more of the features that are on the app. I'll go through them here, give you an idea. This is where the mower location is. It gives you a map. The green area is the progress. That's what the mower has mowed. You can actually adjust the audio volume. You can take a direct route, which I would, back to the docking station. There's actually a rain sensor on it. You can tell it to go back to the docking station if it rains too much. Charging handbrake. That's if it's on a slight slope. It'll actually dock and it'll lock it in as sort of a hill brake, as I believe. So I thought that was a neat little feature. Also, headlight mode. You can turn on and off the headlights based on the time of day. Like during the winter, it will be a lot more time that it would need the headlights. And obviously, you want them off during the day to save battery and increase performance of the mower. Now, there's recharge and resume. That is where you can actually set up certain hours during the day. If you didn't want to mow at night, you'd want to program it here to where it would not mow at night. If you allow it to go 24/7, it'll keep on going until the mission is over, however you want to roll with that. Now, as far as noise, you could probably mow this at night, and I doubt the neighbors would complain, because just about all robot lawnmowers are fairly quiet. But this gives you that flexibility to do your mowing whenever you wish. Likes. I really like the heavy, bona fide blades on this lawnmower. Now, granted, you can get by with the smaller ones, but the advantage with this one, you can mow your grass only once a week. Once when you get a robot lawnmower with those smaller blades, and if you haven't mowed for 4 or 5 days, it's going to have a struggle to cut the grass. This one obviously is not. You can see it right here, cutting this nasty thick stuff that hasn't been mowed in over a month, and it has no trouble doing it. I am extremely impressed with its slope performance. I don't think there's a robot mower on the market that could possibly touch this lawnmower as far as mowing on slope, and this was a true test. On this yard, my son flipped a John Deere riding lawnmower, and this mower mowed through it, even with the leaves on it from the fall. So there's that. In addition, I like how the front deck can be serviced. You can easily take the blades off of it. You don't have to flip it over too much. It can also be cleaned very easily that way. Like I said, that's one thing I really like about front deck mowers. They're easily serviced. Things I didn't like. Had a little trouble with it docking into the docking station. However, I've also seen other reviews of this model, of this mower, having the same issue. However, what I think they did is what I did, and that is I did not create a definite path to the docking station. A lot of robot lawnmowers don't require you to do that. This one does, and I bet if you did that, I'm going to play around with it a little bit more, but I think that's the docking issue people are having, and I had that as well. The biggest issue I had was, in order to get a hold of technical service, you have to email them or chat with them, and they will not get back to you until the next day. And when you have these little things come up, like maybe a docking station, or maybe you forgot, like I did, to connect the battery, I send them an email and I don't know anything about it till the next day. And here I am trying to set the lawnmower up, and I got to wait 24 hours to get an answer out of something that is really simple. Sometimes on me, I didn't read the darn directions like I should. By the way, the manual that comes with it, they have updated it. So you really need to go to Lymow's website, or maybe have their technical assistants email you their new manual. That's where I missed hooking up that battery, and I noticed a few other reviewers had done that as well. So they redid their manual to make that a little more clear so folks won't have issues with that. So
the Lymow One is more like a traditional lawnmower. There's going to be less of a learning curve for you getting this one than it is with a typical robot lawnmower if you've never used a robot lawnmower before. There again, with those, you have to mow 2 to 3 times a week in order for the mower to be able to keep up with it, because of the blades that it has and some of these avoidance systems. And the robustness of this also gives you a flexibility to use it just about anywhere. You can use it on very deep grass versus fine turf, and that's what I demonstrated in this video. So it is not a bad move. So if this video has been informative and helped you, please like and subscribe to the channel. I'm an agronomist, a North Carolina State University graduate, have over probably 90 YouTube videos on home lawn care. So I put these videos together to help you reach the goals of your yard, and that is to approach the channel. So anyway, appreciate you watching. Thanks.